Okay. So in 1.4, we're going to talk about measures of variation. And kind of the most important measure of variation that we're going to keep using a lot is standard deviation. Do we use standard deviation a lot?
We use standard deviation all the time, and it gives a really good picture of how the data, we looked at centers, measures of center, and it gives us a really good picture of how the data spreads out from center.
Yeah.
Is it very far dispersed from center, or is it hugging tight, close to the mean?
Right. And so, depending on what that measure of spread is, what the standard deviation is, we can kind of think about, well, is a specific data value unusually low for this data set or unusually high for this data set?
Yeah.
And we say that usual values, fall within 2 standard deviations of the mean. So most of our data should fall within 2 standard deviations of the mean.
So if you're sitting at the mean, 2 standard deviations above or 2 standard deviations below.
Right.
Those would be usual values. Anything further out than that, it's unusual.
Yeah. So if I have the age of Congress members, if the mean is 58 years old with a standard deviation of 65
years.
How about 6.5 years?
How about that?
Yeah. Then I could find that minimum usual value by saying, okay, the mean, maybe that should be a mu. Well, it's okay.
We'll go with it.
I'm going to change
she's
it.
going to change it.
I'm going to change it.
Okay.
It should be the mean minus 2 standard deviations. Okay, so the different symbols for standard deviation are sigma for population standard deviation and S for a sample standard deviation.
Yes.
Okay, so for my minimum usual value here, and I'm using mu because it's all members of Congress. So that's
because it's a population. Yeah. We're doing a parameter.
Yeah, that's why I changed it. So sorry about that. But I will just subtract 2 of those standard deviations.
Okay.
Right? So that's 58 minus 13, which gives me 45.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the minimum usual age is 45, according to this calculation. And so let's do the maximum usual age.
So if I add 2 standard deviations, 58 plus 2 times 6.5, I get 71. Okay, so that's saying, if I look at a number line, sorry, that's not very straight. If my mean here is 58, 1 standard deviation above, 2 standard deviations above is 71. 1 standard deviation below, 2 standard deviations below is 45.
Can we highlight the usual area?
Yeah.
And then can we highlight what would be unusual, maybe a different color?
Yeah. So we'll make it red.
Okay.
Okay. So age is less than 45 or more than 71, we would call those unusual.
Because they're getting pretty far away from average.
Right. Yeah, so there's kind of a cutoff there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would it be unusual for a member of Congress to be 43 years old?
43 years old is looking to me like it's in that red unusual area down there, lower than 2 standard deviations away.
Yes.
Yep.
It would be unusual.
That is unusual.
What about 70 years old?
No, 70 looks like it's in that range.
Yeah, that's kind of in our usual range, so it would not be unusual.
Okay.
Good.